What's up guys, how the heck are you doing? Welcome to today's video. I am super stoked because FedEx just came and they dropped off my Blackmagic camera. So if you remember in a couple videos back, for about a year or so I haven't been using my Blackmagic camera, and that's simply because I was having issues with the display. I sort of just put it on the shelf after we filmed our short film, The Butcher. A little bit aggravated with it, got a little aggravated with their customer support, but I think most of that turned out to being my bad and not Blackmagic Design's bad. So once I finally got a hold of them, they were pretty awesome with staying in touch with me through email. Sent them my camera and they told me that the issue was there was an issue with the display, something internally wrong with the screen, and they needed to take it apart. I needed to ship it in, and they were gonna repair it for me. Now I'm not sure if they repaired my camera or if they repaired, had a repair there already or sent me a brand new camera, because if this is my camera, it looks super, super clean. Now, I'm not sure, I'll have to remember what the serial number for my camera was, but if so, they did a really good job. There's no scrapes on the camera, there's no signs of it being repaired, it just looks super clean. Plus, they gave me a little screen protector here. So, most of my batteries are dead for this camera because I haven't charged them up in a little while, but I have enough juice to turn it on and see that the screen is fixed and it's not doing that crazy stuff it was doing before where it was doing all of the phantom touches. So, beyond stoked to have this camera back. The Blackmagic 4K, 6K, and 6K Pro to me are still some of the best bang for your buck cameras that you can buy to this day, and they produce some of the best looking images sub $10,000. So I love Sony, I love Sony mirrorless, love the image they produce, the ease of use, all that good stuff. But if I'm shooting a film or a cinematic sequence, I'm always gonna pick up this guy instead. Plus, I have cinema lenses and vintage lenses. I don't know if you've ever looked and seen these lenses on the shelf behind me. A lot of those are vintage Canon lenses, vintage Minolta lenses, and like Helios 44-2 lenses, stuff like that. Like weird vintage lenses that I can only use on, or that I like to use on this Blackmagic camera. Although, I love using my GoPros, I love using my Sony. I've been waiting to get this guy back so I can film a couple of short film projects specifically for this channel. Something that's been a little more cinematic, something covering a project I'm working on. Those details will come as I start filming that, but super stoked to have it back. Today though is Thrifting Thursday, so you guys know, if you're a watcher, subscriber, viewer of the channel, me and Tawny, we go out and we thrift every Thursday, just see if there's any oddities, antiques, or cool stuff that we can find to bring home to our collection. So we're gonna go do that, and if the rain lets up, I'm not sure if it's going to. Let's find out. Hey Siri, what's the humidity today?
The humidity will be up to 56% today.
That's ridiculous. Hey Siri, what's the temperature?
It's about 91 degrees outside.
91 degrees, a high of 93, 80% chance of rain. It's miserable out there. So we'll see if we get out there, if we shoot with the Blackmagic. Because I don't want to get this thing wet, especially after just getting it back. So it cost about $145 to get my issue repaired, so not terrible. Well worth the money in my opinion. But let's see where this day takes us. Alright, so we decided to go out and we did a little bit of thrifting, but more or less sort of just been driving around today, and I got a couple pictures of these bus stops that I've been after. Tawny and Emery, they're down there. We pulled over at this old freight station. I'll throw some pictures up here that I shot at this freight station, but Right now we're just pulled off on the side of the road. It is freaking hot. But yeah, so it's really just been a photo day. I don't think we're gonna go out and shoot with the Blackmagic today. I'll probably save that for tomorrow when I have batteries that are fully charged up and some sort of idea for what I want to shoot, for just some test stuff to show you guys the type of footage that you can get out of there if you're not aware. So this freight station though, super cool. Me and Tawny come out here and we walk a good bit, and this place over here, this white building, if you could see it, that's where I want a studio space. It's like this, it used to be this old Bluebell, like kind of creamery type building. And if I could get a studio out of the house, that's where I would want it. It's real industrial looking in there, has like the exposed beams, exposed piping and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys back in the studio. Let me know what you think about these photos we're putting up. Alright guys, so here we are back in the studio, and the sun has come out, and it made it an even more humid day than it already was before. But you know what? It was a pretty good day despite the crappy weather. So these series of photos that I shot in this video, they are some photos I've been after for a while. Not necessarily the freight station ones, even though I do think I got some good photos in there. More or less the bus stop benches. So these bus stop benches, I believe, are from the 50s, because the city I live in used to be the furniture capital of the United States and maybe the furniture capital of the world back in the day, and then all of these factories started outsourcing and going overseas. So a lot of these factories and warehouses closed down, so I have a lot of abandoned warehouses, a lot of abandoned factories near where I live. Now these bus stops are sort of around those abandoned factories, and I believe this is where people would get on the bus after they did their shift at work. So a lot of these bus stops are just ran down as well, because we don't really have city transit like that anymore. So yeah, so I'm after those bus stop pictures, just spotting them out around the city, and when I can see them, I like to take pictures of them. So maybe including that bus stop photo in my my photo project, my short film project I have coming up. But like I said, more details are to come on that once I have all the details fleshed out to give you. I'm still trying to get my mind wrapped around exactly what it is I want to do. Now, thrifting. This is my takeaway from Thrifting Thursday today. So this is a Knott's book. Now, why would I want a Knott's book? So, this book is from the 90s, but it was only 50 cents. Originally $13.95 here in the upper corner. Now the reason I would want this book is because I think learning to tie knots of all kinds is a great skill set to have. So I spent a good portion of my life as an electrician, and as an electrician, depending on what you do, right, you have to tie off loads, you have to hoist up loads. So I learned maybe 3 or 4 good type of securing knots. But I did notice that on my time as a filmmaker, whether I'm doing grip or gaff, you need to know how to tie some knots. So I think it's just a good skill to learn, whether you're climbing, boating, working on a film set, doing some sort of construction, or you know, just with the amount of hiking that I do, I think knowing how to secure loads, or maybe something even life-saving in a pinch. So this book is really cool, and just something I can mess around with. It teaches you all sorts of knots, not only for, like I said, climbing and securing, but also for fishing, and with good illustrated pictures. So for 50 cents, how could you not want that? So yeah, so like last night while me and Tawny were cooking and we were just sort of waiting for, you know, the meal to cook, I was just sitting there and I was tying knots looking at this book. And just a good little time waster, something to do as you're learning. So, the Knots book. That was my good find of the day. Tawny found some gnarly things that she likes, like brass candlesticks and stuff like that. But let's talk about photos for a minute. So, my photography, you guys know that I'm not on Instagram anymore. and I can see that many photographers are moving away from Instagram. Just look it up on YouTube. A lot of your bigger photographers are starting to ditch that social media platform. And some are saying go post your work on Twitter. Some are saying go back to Flickr. Now, what I would say is go to the glass.photo app. So if you're interested in any of my photos, glass.photo /Drewxcifer is where you'll find my work, and it's a good community of people over there. I'm starting to sort of form a follower base, as well as finding new photographers that I've never heard of, and it's a good way for you to go look at work that is uploaded in a professional portfolio type of way. Without all the bull crap. I have a video here on it if you want to check out, you know, what the app has to offer. But the cool thing about it is if you're ever interested in my photos and let's say the camera I use or the lens I use, this app, you can go on there and you could just see all that data there. It tells you what I shot it on, when I shot it, and yeah, it's sort of like a look into the playbook of another photographer. So, glass.photo app. Go follow me there if you haven't. I will put all of that information down below in the description. Stay rad, just go shoot, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.